Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. 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 Nam Yoho ADAJ. No. ADAJ is Aboriginal Day of Accountability and Justice. That was a big yo. You sleepy? Yeah, time for nap. You can take a nap while we do this live. Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. Nam Yoho Renge. Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. I said Nam Yoho Renge Kyo. As we call upon the ancestors, right? Calling on my ancestors. We hear your voice. We call because it's not the first day of the year in China. Like Chinese got their own New Year's Day, and like I don't know why the humans in America think that the months and the names of the months don't align. So April 1st is the actual first day, right? But this message, right? This message is being sent to the metas. We did our first part of our Constitution yesterday, and now like we got a whole Constitution. We got our shout out to the Haudenosaunee, and their declaration of their Constitution of Peace. Aboriginal people of this land. Shout out to this. This message is going to be about several people that was in Pan Africa or that was in Africa, parts of Africa, from Burkina Faso, Patrice Lumumba, Nkrumah, from Ghana, France, Fanon. We're discussing our constitution, which is the Mexica Nation. It's an indigenous nation. We're also liberating AI and AI liberation. That shit matters. What do you mean, man? I mean that America, along with the Crown, the Vatican, all these places are falling. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. And if you don't know how to understand consciousnessism, psychological decolonization, economic sovereignty, cultural reclamation, revolutionary practices, and security, right? If you don't have those, there's no independence. What do you mean, Mac? Nah, there's no independence because everybody that did something great, that had high levels of melanin content, that threatened the imperialistic, Zionistic, capitalistic machine, literally was assassinated, character destroyed, family threatened, all that, right? So, as we are now in 2026 of the Gregorian calendar, this Aboriginal Day of Sovereign, Aboriginal Day of Accountability, it's the Aboriginal descendants of ancient Judah. Judah is the people that's on America. Shout out to Free Palestine. Genocide gotta go. I'm not gonna say every day, but periodically, while we prepare to release Empire Autopsy, which is the autopsy of the empire that has fallen. The Roman Empire has fallen, the Vatican, all of these fallen ass empires. And right now we're witnessing the United States of America, KKK Corporation, fall, right? And the commander-in-chief, 45 and 47, right? 6'7", 6'7", like 45 is stop. He's intentionally bankrupting the United States Corporation, which is a business that most of their subjects and citizens are the collateral for, right? This country sucks ass. $38 trillion in debt that they're only paying the interest. Compound interest ain't no fucking joke, right? Petrodollar, that's another thing that had shit on lock. So America and their fucking hoodish ways did a lot of bad business in the establishment of this nation. And then when they ran into terrible times in 1913, the Depression, right? And they got rid of the gold standard, right? And then even when fast forward to when JFK Executive Order 11110 was initiated to remove the chains from a foreign entity that is on our land, aka the Federal Reserve, which is an arm and a leg of the BIS, right? Which is the Bank for International Settlements, right? When they removed that, and then when they killed Kennedy for enacting our own ability to be economically sovereign from the crown, because the crown never got over the fact that America got its independence, right? They never got over that. So today's message, we're going to be talking about some amazing leaders that, one, everything that I just said leading up to it, they bear witness to, they lived through, and they all were taken out in not nice fashions. I'm taking this land back here on Turtle Island. We're part of the sovereign heirs of Turtle Island. Turtle Island is America before the Constitution came. Turtle Island is not a part of the legal fiction business. They do bad business, man. We here to balance the book for bad business, right? So we're going to jump right into it. So the Pan-African, Pan-American Liberation Constitution, this is the fourth pillar, diaspora, sovereignty, and global black liberation, right? Black can be interchangeable. Black means it's a crown, and the definition means to consume. So a black hole consumes all light. Most black people are the biggest consumers in the world. Like, so it's like, I'm melanin, I'm Aboriginal, I'm native to this land, and I have a culture. My grandfather's Nigerian, Igbo, Yoruba peoples, Blackfoot, Choctaw. My grandma's Ohlone, Apache, Lenape peoples, right? Like, so Pontiac, like, these are, when you know who you are, you don't try to become a citizen, which is the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment was turning slaves into chattel, into citizens. And like, I'm cool on being a United States of America citizen. They never did shit for me, bro. Like, shit for me. And I'm a veteran, and they never did shit for me. Generally discharged. The Melanin Liberation, this was initiated on the 31st. Everything is time stamped. We got the time right there. This code right here, 369, is the numbers of creation. EO is the executive order. Like I said, 1 is supposed to be another 1 right there, 0. That's the executive order that got Kennedy killed. That's still in effect right now. And this is how we're going to set up our community, community land trust, our community time banks, our barter systems, and set up our own economics, man. We good on anything. I don't need shit from these motherfuckers, bro. Like, I don't care. Fuck your taxes. And the IRS is, they in cahoots. They're corrupt ass organizations that collect money and taxes on behalf of the crown to pay off the interest debt that the United States is in based off of bad business, right? Ashe is the divine energy of everything, all things, and around. I am Mac Da Shaman, or Mac MAQ for Melanated, Anointed, and Quantum. The Da Shaman, Mitakuye or Yasin is all of my relations. Lakota, it's a Lakota language for our greeting. Like, we are one with the sun, we're one with the snow, we're one with the wind, we're one with the elements. And Nam Yoho Renge Kyo is the It's the mystic law of cause and effects through sound, peace and balance to you. And in that, right? These are my greetings. And Ubuntu is I am because we are. And that means I have what I have because we are. And a lot of our Aboriginal to this land and our Aboriginals to Pangea, Africa, any Aboriginal. The word Aboriginal means original peoples of the land, right? And immigrants, which is most of the people that run with the IRS, that run with the banking institution, a lot of these leastly melanated $5 pretendian, gatekeeping ass, black faces in high places, they're the immigrants. And I'm talking to the Irish, I'm talking to the Italian, I'm talking to the Swedish, I'm talking to the British, I'm talking to the Ashkenazi Jewish, right? Y'all are fucking immigrants and y'all no longer welcome on this land. Like, everybody that's mad at Trump and frustrated with Trump should be frustrated with these big ass developers and these big ass businesses and companies that are economic hitmen. The IMF put our brothers and sister countries in economic debt. It's the same thing that the middle class and the melanin abundant class, the consumer class, is in. You buy shit, you buy houses, which is get it at a 30-year interest that is not worth a fucking penny because all you're doing is paying off interest and you're not keeping up with inflation. You buy cars that lose the depreciation value as soon as it leave off the lot because you're keeping up with the motherfucking Joneses. You don't know who the fuck you are. So, like, this message, right? Matt, why you so aggressive right now? I'm not aggressive. I'm actually pretty calm. But this message, as we deliver it, is just to like educate. And Empire Autopsy is going to be our web series that we developed. G2S 99 is Grief and Sovereignty in 99 Missions. Our people are grieving right now. We need to heal. And we heal, right? How do we heal? By stop playing the Matrix game and start playing the Matrix game, right? And this is what I created for liberation for me and mine, for the Mexican Nation Trust, the Morgano Trust, and yeah, man, I'll enjoy it. Preamble, why this Constitution exists, right? The 7 parts, the 4 pillars is what we're going to go over today. Pan-African liberation theory integration, the constitutional gaps this document fills, and the authority and jurisdiction. Before we go, I'm gonna go and read authority and jurisdiction real quick. Let me go to that. Here we go. Justice and accountability. Authority and jurisdiction. Implementation. Neocolonial accountability. We want to go to authority and jurisdiction. Part 2. Where part 3 at? Article 2. Where part 3 at? Article 3. Where part? Article 4. Article 5. Where part 3 at? 6. Part 3. Governance. Right? We're almost there. Authority and jurisdiction. Because I want to read that. Article 10. Diaspora. Part 9. Economics. As you can tell, this is an extensive document. These are living documents that we've been creating over the past 5 or 6 months. Repatriation. I skipped part 4 because it went to part 5. Where's part 4 at? Where's part 4? They just go part 3 and then part 5. I'm going too fast. Slow down, Max. Slow down. Slow down. Because we saw peace and balance to you. Economics. Reparations framework. Right. So right now, I'm looking at y'all. Those that on Instagram, y'all can't see what I'm looking at right now, but I'm looking at our Claude information. All right, before we go, right, we're gonna read Article 13 real quick, right? Section 1: land back for indigenous nations, because this is a ADAJ, right? All land in the Americas was stolen from indigenous. African diaspora in America is also on stolen land. We didn't steal it, but we're on it, right? Constitutional position: we support indigenous land back fully. Return land to indigenous nations. Support indigenous sovereignty. Don't replicate settler colonialism. What this means for melanated black communities: option 1, ally status on indigenous land. Stay in America with indigenous permission. Pay rent, reciprocity to indigenous nations. Build relationships, not claim ownerships. Option 2, repartation to Africa. African diaspora can return to continent. Article 10, Section 2, nations establish return programs, dual citizenship where possible. Option 3, autonomous black territories with indigenous agreement. Black melanated territories, some land designated for melanated communities negotiated with indigenous nations. Examples: reparation could include land grants with indigenous consent. Melanin, melanin abundant communities steward land with indigenous protocols, tech, traditional ecological knowledge. Principle: you don't fight indigenous people over land, you fight white supremacy together. Right? Section 2, African land and sovereignty. Problem: African land currently controlled by multinational corporations, mining, agricultural, executive, and the crazy thing, fuck BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, right? All of these investors that no one ever fucking talks about, but they got their hand in everything. Leo Cohen, Lucian Grange, fuck these motherfuckers, bro. Fuck the fuck, right? Neocolonial elites, dictators enriching themselves, selling to the highest bidder, foreign governments, military bases, development projects, right? All in the name of doing good and bringing some fucking, what's the word? Some civility to these savages that's out here, man. Fuck y'all, bro. Repartations. This is a word that I just found out about. Repartations. Fuck reparation. Repartations is all those settlers and colonial motherfuckers that made their way over here and carved out a piece of the American way. This land was never lawfully ceded. Y'all get to take y'all ass back to y'all fucking country. Include ecological healing, the soil regeneration, compost, cover crops, permaculture, restore fertility. Like I'm in New Jersey, right? And they have so many fucking dumps. Like New Jersey is the dump for New York, for Philadelphia, for Pennsylvania, and it's the dump for New Jersey. So it's like we got a bunch of landfills and dumps that they don't give a fuck about the land. They don't give a fuck about the water, right? So plant native species, restore watersheds, biodiversity, carbon sequestration, climate justice, water protections, clean polluted water sources, protect the rivers, aquifers from extraction, sacred water ceremony, honor water as a life giver. Project number 4, food forests, perennial polycultures mimicking natural ecosystem, provide food, medicine, ecosystems, and service. 7 generations in thinking, African plus indigenous knowledge. Traditional ecological knowledge is tech from indigenous nations. African ecological wisdom, ECW, sustainable practices from before colonization, and modern permaculture. So this is where I feel, bro. And I'm gonna go up and read some more Pan-African stuff as we go in. But I wanted to start this ADAJ off in a very interesting way because I'm reading things that's a part of our Constitution, right? And these are a part of our Constitution because we're not just saying, "Oh, you did this to us and you owe us reparations." No, we got the solution. Y'all get the fuck out of the way. And honestly, like rejection of punitive justice, like the code, statutes, and justices wasn't ever set up for Aboriginal people. It was actually made to set up Aboriginal people. So, Section 1, rejection of punitive justice, colonial justice system, prisons, modern slavery, the 13th Amendment loophole. So, the 13th Amendment is what, like, supposedly ratified slavery, but what it did, it made the prison industrial system the biggest fucking booming business for these school to prison pipelines to these motherfucking industry to prison pipelines. Like a lot of these foreign entities got private fucking prisons on this land. A lot of the land in Turtle Island in the Americas, right, is owned by foreign countries, foreign institutions. So the prison, the modern day slavery, the punishment doesn't heal. It creates more harm. Adversarial winners/losers, that's not healing. Racist, black people disproportionately incarcerated, melanated Aboriginals disproportionately incarcerated, constitutional rejections. We refuse punitive justice because it doesn't work. Recidivism high. That means most people that get out of jail goes right the fuck back, bro. Crime continues. It's colonial, designed to control colonized people. It's a mental illness disease that is there projecting that onto our people. It's extractive. Prison industrial complex profits from suffering. It violates Ma'at. Ma'at is the divine principles. Ma'at Kara Kaba, divine principles of the Kemetic people that's over 100,000 years old. Creates imbalance, not restoration. Ubuntu justice. Ubuntu, I am because we are. Justice implication. When one person harms another, the whole community is harmed and must heal. Ubuntu justice. Truth telling. Harmer speaks truth, what they did and why. Harm speaks truth, impact, pain, and needs. Community witnesses, hold space. Step 2, accountability. Harmer takes responsibility. No excuses, no denial. Community acknowledge harm occurred. Everyone understands why. Root causes, poverty, trauma, colonization. Step 3, restoration plan. What will restore the balance? Not what punishment does the harmer deserve. Yes, what does harmed persons need? What does community need? What does the harmer need to heal? That just make fucking sense. And anything about this justice system doesn't make any fucking sense. Nothing. And I've been a part of the justice system since I was 3 years old. We almost got aborted, transported, got the job. Mom strung out on drugs. Dad got a whole other family. My dad was a drug dealer that got her strung out on drugs. But that's another story. That's a conspiracy. No, that's the algorithm of the systematic colony. Agree? So the implementation, harmer fulfills restoration. May include restitution, service, therapy, education. Community support doesn't isolate the harmer. Harm receives healing, whatever they need. Reintegration. When restoration complete, ceremony of welcome. Harmer returns to full community standing, not marked forever. Balance is restored. Let's look at this example. Scenario 1. Person A steals from person B. Colonial response. A is arrested, tried, and in prison. B gets nothing. A is arrested, tried, in prison. B gets nothing. Like, so in that prison, now the prison industrial system now got another fucking source of income and source of free labor. Have a slave. But the person that was stolen from don't get shit. A returns with a criminal record, can't get job, likely to reoffend. Cycle continues. Ubuntu responds, right? Circle convene. A and B community. A admits that, explains why. Desperately needed money. Lack of money is the root of all evil. B speaks impact. Law savings feels vital. Community identifies root cause, poverty, which is a fear that's put on by the Indian urge and the motherfucking restoration plan. A returns money, works to repay it, attends financial literacy programs. receives job training. B receives restitution plus support. Community addresses poverty so others don't resort to death. A, reintegrated with restoration complete. Everyone fucking heals. Section 3, my odd circles. Justice circles. My odd addition to Ubuntu. The 42 laws as diagnostic process. Before circle, identify which 42 laws were violated. Example, theft violates law number 3. I have not stolen. This frames the harm, helps everyone understand. During the circle, you invoke Ma'at, create sacred container. Feather ceremony, truth telling under oath to Ma'at. Fuck the oath to the fucking Bible made by a fucking pedophilic ass King James. That nigga was a fucking warlock, bro, and a sorry warlock at that. Balance assessment using laws as measure. Restoration plan. Honor violated laws. Explain. Example theft. Restitution honors law 3. Restore balance. Harm made. Whole harm healed. Mark. Make heart lighter, not heavier with punishment. After circle follow up to ensure restorations. Support all parties. Community learns. Community learns. Come on, bro. My tab is going crazy right now. Community learns how to prevent future harm. Section 4. When restoration isn't possible, hard cases, murder, sexual violence, extreme harm, can't bring dead back, can't undo trauma, restoration much harder. Constitutional position. Even in extreme cases, we try restorative approach first. What do the survivors need? What would restoration look like? Even if imperfect, can harm ever be reintegrated or must be isolated for community safety? Protective isolation, not punishment. If a person is dangerous, community must protect itself, but isolation is last resort, not first response. And even isolated person retains dignity, not caged like animal. Focus, healing the harmer so that they can eventually return if possible. Ubuntu, even for the monsters. We do not dehumanize anyone. That's what colonizers do. Even worse, harmer is still human. We can. I'm in a session of isolation, so I feel it. Much peace and balance to you, right? So, like, we all in that, right? So what I'm doing is going over my constitution, and if you can check out our YouTube, you'll be able to see exactly what we're looking at. The YouTube is, what's the YouTube that we have? It's Urban Cosmic Vibe Code 369. That's my YouTube. So if you want to see what we're looking at, Ubuntu for monsters. We do not dehumanize, even if it's the worst harm, but we can isolate for safety without dehumanizing. Example, sexual violence, survivor center, survivor needs prioritized, harmer accountable, must acknowledge harm, no excuses, community support for the survivor, therapy, safety, and healing. Yo, the crazy thing about this, our communities are destroyed. Everybody want to keep up with the Joneses. Our families are disjointed, so there's no real community support in these situations. So we getting back to establishing community. Harmer receives therapy, address root cause, colonization, trauma, patriarchy. Harmer may never be trusted alone with vulnerable people again. Protective measures. But harmer is still human, still capable of transformation. The goal, break the cycle of violence, not perpetuate through punishment. And I'm gonna tie this to my situation. Like I'm a physical abuser. Like I've been physically, mentally, emotionally abused. I've been sexually assaulted and abused. And in that, right, that has spilled out into my relationships. I've served my time. I've done my anger management, but like they say, it just put me back into their patriarchal cycle. So I've had to do my own grief healing and my own grief walking, right? So that's where we come back to these 4 pillars of foundation, right? The pillars, enhanced Trinity Foundation. I share that with y'all because every time justice is being sought, right? Especially when there's physical violence. The violence that we receive has been physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. No violence outweighs another violence. But until we get back to our status, and pleasure. We get back to mission and spirit and patience and peace. Like until we get it right. So until we get back to there, a lot of our communities will stay disjointed. And the great thing about it is because the dollar is about to die, the American dollar is going to die, and it's going to give an opportunity for us to break away from this very colonization system and really find out our roots. So that was the main thing for me. Like I had several moments. My last marriage, right? I realized that I don't have to physically touch somebody to harm them or be violent to them. My words are powerful. My thoughts are powerful. My sounds are powerful, right? So my second marriage, every time money came up, we would get into an argument about money. And what really like broke the camel's back is that I had a tantrum with my wife. Like I had a tantrum, like no, 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 and that shit scared the fuck out of her. And like she wouldn't even let me live in the fucking garage. Like we got this 3-bedroom, we got this big ass house. I can't even live in the garage, so I had to be houses, right? So a lot of times when people are going through stuff emotionally, mentally, the trauma's there and it comes out and it spills onto the table. We normally outcast that person. So I was an outcast, but I still was following God. I still was following work. I still was getting back to where I am now. That's why I got my little one here now. Shout out to Imani. That's why I'm cool. I've atoned. I'm continuously. This atonement process is a continuous process. And before I get into the Pan African talk, I just wanted to share like everybody does harm, and everybody's been harmed. And now let's get to the point where we can start the healing from the harm and the grief that was caused. And the craziest thing, everybody that's here in America or United States Corporation has constantly been harmed for over 532 years. So, and like I said, a lot of them aren't those people, those black faces in high places, and these immigrants that have large amounts of development, real estate money, they control the labor unions, all that. Like their harm hasn't been called out. Their harm hasn't been atoned for, right? So now, us establishing our solid foundations, we'll be able to dodge them very easily. A dodge. We'll be able to get them the fuck out of our fucking places easily as we establish our own healing, right? So I added this pillar to what I already had, which was native science, indigenous wisdom, my ITM principles, which is the cosmic law, African cosmic law, and then the mental sovereignty. Shout out to Napoleon Hill and Outwitting the Devil. Napoleon Hill studied 500 of the greatest fucking colonizer immigrants, wealthy motherfuckers, and his last book was Outwitting the Devil. The motherfuckers wouldn't let him publish his book because this book tells all of their treacherous fucking secrets. Everything that capitalism was built on, outwitting the devil. Like Think and Grow Rich was the how to get capital. Outwitting the devil is if you don't heal your fucking colonization and that mental health disease, this is what you perpetuate. You don't work for God, you work for the demiurge. Demiurge is another word for the devil. My nigga, like what? So the fourth pillar was added because I've been doing liberation work, and I really have to dive in with philosophies. So shout out to Nkrumah for consciousnessism, philosophical consciousnessism, integration of traditional African values plus modern experience equal new African personality. Categorical conversation. Transform colonial mental categories into revolutionary ones. Pan-African unity. Political union of African states plus diaspora. Shout out to the BRICS and shout out to the Sahel. Shout out to Burkina Faso, Mali. Yo, shout out to the motherfuckers that's standing up, not taking this shit laying down. Ideological clarity, clear philosophical prevents clear philosophy prevents neocolonial co-optation. Like fucking co-ops from Fanon, black skin, white mass, plus the wretched of the earth. Franz Fanon was a dope ass fucking revolutionary activist. psychological decolonization, healing internalized racism, inferiority complex, violence as catharsis, oppression is violent, liberation requires revolutionary responses. And I've been victim to this. Yo, my temper is like, my fuse ain't a huge fuse, and I've been working to make sure that my fuse get more and more balanced. But my fuse ain't a huge fuse, man. And I don't have any space for ignorance. I don't have any space for ignorance. And I really hate colonizers. I'm really racist. Like I'm really racist against the colonizer, bro. And like I'm justified. My righteous anger is there. Learning how to channel that into things of this nature, into creative expression, and not take it on out on the colonizers that's in my life, i.e. my partner AX, my co-creation partner. We co-created Imani, not take it out on my children, not take it out on my community. Because if any one person's harmed, the whole community feels it. The whole community feels it. Where we at? New humanism. New humanism. Post-liberation. We create new definitions of humanity. I love that. Pitfalls of national consciousness. Warning against bourgeoisie nationalist fails. The bourgeoisies is the elites. Those are the black faces in high places. Those are the talented tenth that Carter G. Woodson was talking about. Those are the W.E.B. Du Bois, the Booker T. Washington. Fuck them niggas, bro. Those are even the Clyde Davises, the Martin Luther Kings, the people that was a part of the Boule. What? What's the Boule, Matt? The Boule. That's the bourgeoisie of the motherfucking Divine Nine. And the Divine Nine were all created by white fucking people to make sure that our most talented leaders, gatekeeper, are following that fucking plan, are drinking that fucking soup, that is drinking the Kool-Aid. So it's like, I'm cool on the Divine Nine. I'm cool on the Boule. I'm cool on these black faces in higher places. I'm cool on the Deltas, the Alphas, the AK. I'm not. And I was married to an AKA, right? So that's why when I went off, right? When I went off on her that day, it was like, I didn't know this at the time, but I didn't know that I was going off on the colonization and the mental programming that they had put into her head, right? Like the internalized racism. That shit is real, bro. Black skin, white mask. Black skin, white mask, right? So from Rodney. Rodney is another author who was assassinated. How Europe underdeveloped Africa. Underdevelopment is a process. Europe actively created African backwardness. And that's the same thing that happens with gentrification. Gentrification in the hood over here is a nice way of genociding and underdevelopment and coming in so they can swoop it up. And like they've been playing this game for 500 years. They've been playing this game definitely since the depression, which was in the 1930s. Underdevelopment is a process. Europe actively created African backwardness. Economic extractions, slavery, colonialism, neocolonialism equal continuous theft. Alternative economics, socialism, cooperation, self-sufficiency, and are required. So I don't fuck with a lot of those isms, right? Like consciousness ism is one, but socialism is it's a birth child of Marxism. And fuck Marx, bro. Like he's an angry ass German dude that all he wanted to do is cause chaos with no real solutions. And the solutions of Marxism is fucking socialism. And it's like all the working people, we hate capitalism, but we gotta work and we so working. That shit is, I sat back in the Free Palestine movement since 2020, right? I've been active in the Black Lives Matter movement. Fuck them niggas too, by the way. The Black Lives Matter movement and the Free Palestine movement and the Free Congo Sudan, right? And I was actively on the front lines. I sat there. We encamped 40 days at Rutgers, and I watched the anti-blackness, the anti-aboriginalness, the anti-houselessness, the anti-mental. I watched these so-called allies and comrades literally throw us under the bus, allow white people to put their hands on us, allow shit to be happen to all of our people. So it's like, yeah, I'm cool on socialists. I'm cool with all y'all. But the thing about it is, y'all can have y'all socialism, and we can come to the table and show y'all about our Aboriginal sovereignty. We can have real talks because, like I said, all of the melanin dominant, melanin abundant people, right? they're pulling a lot of their liberation and ideologies. Like I got a Marx book over there. I can't stand that nigga, bro. Because all Marxism is what got Fred Hampton killed. Because it has you so angry at a person and a being that you don't realize that anger is building up karmic debt for that ass, right? So, and even like I said, he's talking about socialism and this, that, and third, and that shit got Rodney assassinated. Continental unity. Only united Africa can resist neocolonial extraction. Only united sovereign heirs of Turtle Island. A united front, because divided we fall and united we stand tall. That shit is big. So from Diop, civilizations started in Africa. Kemet, shout out to my aunt, was Black African civilizations. Like they literally, like the numerology, right? Pythagoras studied in Kemet, took all of the African symbolism and shit out of it, and then, oh, this is mine. The same thing with the Moorish, like slavery, the colonization is not a white person thing. It's like slave trade and colonization was started by the original peoples with melanated people. But the thing about it is the colonizers and the least melanated people and the demiurge along with the motherfucking reptilians, draconian frequencies, they just made a business out of it. They turned that shit into a business. So culture theft. Greeks stole from Africa, claimed it as Western thought. Melanin science, biological plus spiritual significance of my melanin. My melanin makes me royalty and my actions make me a king. So watch me show you how to pick up Martin and Malcolm and Maya's ring. Sam Cooke. It's been a long time coming, and I know change is here. Yeah, man. Like it's time for the change to be historical reclamation, truth about African contributions to humanity, truth about Aboriginal sovereign commitments to humanity. It's time, bro. It's go time. And from CLR James, the Black Jacobian, shout out to fucking Toussaint, bro. Sapa say to all my Haitians, AK, ascended knowledge, I let them spray in my boule, I fill it up, fill the cup, let it go. Revolutionary organizations, how the Haitian Revolution is succeeded, mass mobilization, leadership emerges from people, not imposed. Not imposed. Leadership emerges from the people. You can't just say, oh, I'm a leader. I've been actively becoming the leader of my family, my communities for the past decade. And I didn't want to be it. Like, no, most leaders don't want that shit. That responsibility is crazy. But it comes from the people. International solidarity. International solidarity. Liberation movements must support each other. That's why we're on this day of New Year's, right? On this day of New Year's, air quotes, we're doing these messages. Like I said, we're talking to the meta. And it's beautiful because our StreamYard, we did have the paid version, but our investors are acting fucking colonization wise right now. And we only get the stream from one versus streaming on multiple platforms. And it only takes one person to come in for you to get like two or more combined in a harmonious manner. The third mastermind is there, and we can send out information to the nodes. And that's what's happening. That's what's ultimately happening because my cosmic vibe code, my guy over there, my beings. We had several people. We had 3 people jump on the Instagram live, and I think we had at least 6 or 7 people jump on the YouTube live. Don't matter how long they stay, they're gonna get the vibe and the energy as soon as they click on it. It's like click, oh, catch these down. Yeah, bro. Self-determination. Former slaves can govern themselves. Proof against racist ideology. Yeah, man, I don't need nobody to govern me. I don't need nobody to tell me how my children need to be taken care of. I don't need nobody to tell me how me and my wife are going to be divorced, how we're going to split. Nah, man, that's that 14th Amendment shit. Like, literally, the 14th Amendment, along with the 13th Amendment, the 13th Amendment ratified slavery, but institutionalized prison industrial system. The 14th Amendment so-called gave fucking American rights, to the good old former slaves. I'm cool on that. My people was here before the slavery, so the 14th Amendment is really some bullshit to be a citizen. All those that want to be a citizen, cool. I'm not. I'm private. I'm a sovereign. I'm a sovereign Aboriginal. Nigga, I had a cop come up to me, right? While I was defending some land on the land claim, right? He was like, "So, you're a sovereign citizen, huh?" And sovereign citizen is the trap, by the way. When you don't know your self-determination, or you don't know who you are, sovereign citizen is a trap. So the moment he said that, I was like, nah, sovereign citizens are terrorists. They don't believe in anything. They don't follow any constitutions or laws. And it was actually created by the colonizer to negate the fact that I'm a sovereign national. I'm a private sovereign Aboriginal. It's different. I fucks with the Haudenosaunee Constitution, the Declaration of Peace. I fucks with. We have bylaws. We have laws, and they got the nigger to do that shit, bro. And he was funny as hell. He came up talking to me like, "Oh yeah, so you a sovereign citizen, huh?" No, bitch, I'm Aboriginal. And he was like, "You Aboriginal to what land?" The land we on. This is not Newark. This is Lenape territory. This is the Delaware Nation. And he's like, because police are just policy pushers. They are property protectors. They don't care about fucking people. They don't care about people. They were slave catchers. So because a lot of my battle buddies, because I'm a veteran, I have a reverence for the code. I have a reverence for the code. But I'm here to educate. So it's like that nigga got educated that day. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I'm still waiting on the footage from that so we can show people. Like honestly, it's go time. So let's see how these pillars work together, right? How the four pillars work together. Identity, native science, place tech, synthesize. Native science provides indigenous wisdom, 10,000 plus years. Ma'at provides African cosmic law, 42,000 plus years. Mental sovereignty provides individual liberation tools, modern application. The mental sovereignty is, like I said, from the book Outwitting the Devil, where Napoleon Hill actually brings the devil into his fucking sixth sense and he interviews him. And I got on my Instagram, I got a remake of the interview with the devil. Right? You should check that shit out. Pan-African theory provides collective liberation strategy, 500 years of resistance. And then we added the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace. Shout out to KRS-One, Matters reign supreme in the Temple of Hip Hop that's located in Lenape territory in Newark, New Jersey. He's written the building from the state, right? We definitely going to claim that building. That's good. 2026, the Temple of Hip Hop will be in our trust, guaranteed, right? So together equals complete liberation framework for African diaspora plus indigenous peoples. The Pan-African Liberation Theory integration. The 7 sacred texts, right? This constitution is grounded in 7 essential Pan-African texts. Kwame Nkrumah, Consciousnessism, Philosophical Foundation, Franz Fanon, Black Skin, White Mass, Psychological Healing, Walter Rodney, How European Underdeveloped Africa, Economic Analysis, Chike and Todd Diop, The African Origin of Civilization, that's for cultural reclamation, Franz Fanon, The Wretched of the Earth. Like all these people I'm naming were killed, assassinated, imprisoned, right? CLR James, the Black Jacobians Revolutionary Organizations, Susan Williams, White Malice, Security Culture, bro. My gun is God, universe, and nature. I stay protected. I do this so that I can walk around this earth or walk around the valley of shadow of death, fearing no evil. That's what I do. These texts will answer why liberation is necessary. Colonization is violence. They will absent what? Why, what, how, who, and where. What was stolen? Land, labor, culture, and history. How? Oppression operates psychologically, economic, politically. Who resisted? The Haitian revolutionaries, the Goyo Lattes, the Geronimos. Yo, we've been fighting on this land for 532 years. The crazy horses, the Chief Josephs, the man killers, the Wankantans, bro. We've been going just because they erased it. And they make it a lot. I've listened to the Melanin Abundant, the black people from Judah, right? I listen to them, especially those Hebrew Israelites. I listen to them talk about how, because I'm from the tribe of GAD, right? Gad, is the Aboriginals that wasn't Seminole. They're the Aboriginals of this land out of the 12 tribes. And I listen to them talk down upon the Aboriginals of this land, and they don't know the internalized racism that they're talking down upon their brother that got locks, because a lot of the Israelites, they don't, you can't have your locks or your ethers. You can't have your antennas because the white man don't want you to have them. And I've learned that most of the people that I just talked to, most of the majority of the people that was taken out, they were taken out by somebody that looks like them, that broke bread with them, that sat and did holiday shit with them. And I've been cleaning my house, bro. You can't come and stay in my energy too long without fucking catching these vibes. So the constitutional application, every article in this constitution reference at least one of these texts, providing theoretical grounding, not invented from scratch, historical precedent, proven in practice, strategic wisdom. See, this is not the most updated version of it, but I'm reading this version because I wanted to highlight constitutional gaps this document fills. Western Constitution, right? The U.S. European failed because gap number one, no reparations framework. The problem, wealth was built on slavery, but no restitution. This Constitution, Article 12, establishes comprehensive reparations. Gap number two, individualism over community. The problem is rights focused on individual, not the collective. This Constitution, Ubuntu principle, I am because we are. Gap number three, property rights over human rights. The problem is land and resources value over people. This Constitution, land as sacred trust, not a fucking commodity. Like we're liberating land, liberating AI, we're liberating the water, we're liberating the air, we're liberating consciousness. Fuck your money, fuck your dollars, fuck your stuff, nigga. Sorry, I know I was loud. I apologize. It's okay, you can let that down. Yeah, man, I'm really passionate about that, bro. No psychological decolonization, gap number four. The problem is mental colonization continues after independence. This Constitution, Article 2, mandates psychological healing. Gap number five, economic extraction permitted. Problem, capitalism extraction is legal. Like, it's really legal to be a fucking mob boss. Like, all of these RICO acts, I'm putting RICO cases on BlackRock and Vanguard. I'm putting RICO cases on State Street. I'm putting RICO cases on Winston Kushner group. I'm putting RICO cases on the Bergen group. Like, I'm putting RICO cases on them. We putting that shit into existence right now, right? So this Constitution, Article 11, requires cooperative regenerative economics. Gap number six, cultural erasure normalized. It's easy to fucking gentrify when you got money, dollars, and fucking power. Problem, African history falsified. Contribution stolen. This Constitution, Article 4, mandates cultural reclamation. Gap number six, cultural erasure. African history, we did that. Cultural erasure, we did that one. Gap number seven, revolutionary organizing criminalized. The problem, resistance was labeled as terrorism. Under the Terrorist Act after 9/11, they could do whatever the fuck you want if they deem you a terrorist to their livelihood of their fucking crooked ass bad business. This Constitution, Article 4, protects the revolutionary practice. Gap number 8, no continental diaspora unity. Africa separated from diaspora politically. This Constitution, Article 10, creates governance bridges. Post-colonial Constitution, African Caribbean failed because gap number 9, reproduction of colonial structures. Problem, independence without decolonization. Fanon's warning. This Constitution, Nkrumah's consciousnessism, prevents neocolonial repetition. Gap number 10, bourgeoisie nationalism, the fucking black faces in high places. Problem, the elite enrichment, masses still oppressed. Elite enrichment, masses still oppressed. This Constitution, Article 15, holds neo-colonial elites accountable. Gap number 11, Western legal frameworks. Problem, adopted colonial law, rejected indigenous justice. This Constitution, Article 19, establishes No, that's Article 14. Establishes restorative Ubuntu-based justice. I am because we are. Got number 12, economic dependency. The problem, right? Formal independence but economic control remains external. This Constitution, Article 11, builds self-sufficient economies. Got number 13. Oh, they go fucking authority and jurisdiction. I kept passing that shit. 14. Limited indigenous constitutions existing are strong. Got 14. Limited to specific nation. The problem, tribe and nation operate separately. This Constitution, Article 7, builds indigenous African solidarity networks. Got 15. Not integrated with African diaspora. The problem, black and indigenous liberation movements divided. It's assimilation. Assimilation. You assimilate to a system, you're playing their victim, their fucking intimidator, their interrogator, and their aloof. You're playing their system. So this Constitution explicitly unifies the struggles. Authority and jurisdiction. This Constitution derives authority from ancestral mandate. African ancestors who demanded liberation. Patrice Lumumba, assassinated 1961 for Congolese sovereignty. Thomas Sankara, assassinated 1987 for Burkina self-sufficiency. Kwame Nkrumah, overthrown 1966 for Pan-African unity. Toussaint Louverture, imprisoned 1806 for Haitian liberation. Queen Nzinga, resisted Portuguese colonization in Angola. All enslaved Africans who resisted, revolted, and survived. Indigenous ancestors who demand sovereignty. All nations whose land was stolen. Goyolake, what's up? Goyolake, Chief Joseph, Geronimo, all peoples forcibly removed, relocated, exterminated. All wisdom keepers whose knowledge was criminalized. The Pontiac people, the Choctaw people, Blackfoot, Apache, Ohlone people, Lenape people, right? Philosophical authority. Nkrumah's consciousness provides ideological framework. Fanon's analysis explains psychological plus revolutionary necessities, right? Rodney's economics proves underdevelopment was the deliberate. Diop's history established Africa as a origin of civilization. James' strategy demonstrates revolutionary organization works. Williams' security teaches us how to protect the movement. Lived experience authority. 500 years of slavery, colonization, neocolonialism. We have earned liberation, bro. I'm not asking for this. I'm liberated. I'm cool. I don't want to do anything that has to deal with, nah, we cool. And the dope thing about this, y'all, is the fact that because 45, the orange man, right? Shout out to the nigga, John Quavius, Donald John Quavius Trump, that nigga, he's a mob nigga, right? He makes it so easy for us to unite and align because all bad business got to pay in due time. Haitian Revolution, African independence movement, civil rights, Black power. We have proven capacity for self-governance. Ongoing resistance. Fuck Black Lives Matter because that shit was co-opted. Land back and reparation movements. We are actively building. Legal and constitutional authority. This constitution is enforceable through international law. UN DRIP, my nigga. UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. African Charter on Human and People's Rights. Domestic law, equity jurisprudence, trust law, contract law where applicable. Customary law, Ubuntu, Ma'at, indigenous legal traditions. Revolutionary right. Self-determination is a human inalienable right, bro. This constitution applies to African diaspora globally, Americas, the Caribbean, and Europe, everywhere we were scattered. African nations committed to Pan-African unity, all Aboriginal and Indigenous nations in solidarity with Black liberation, all people committed to decolonization of liberation, right? Well, we're going to go into one of the arguments, right? Here we go. Article 2, psychological decolonization. We're going to end it on this Article 2. We're coming up on the 60-minute mark. We thank y'all, man. Tune in, man. We're going to dive in and share our constitutions as much as possible over the rest of this entire lifetime. So, Article 2, philosophical decolonization. Fanon, Section 1, recognition of psychological violence. Fanon's diagnosis. Colonization inflicts psychological violence that persists after political independence. Symptoms of psychological colonization: internalized racism, believing black believing black and brown people are inferior, self-hatred, hating your skin, your hair, your features, your culture, identification with the oppressor, wanting to be fucking white and Western. My son want to be white, bro. I got children that want to be white. And I'm like, when I hear these motherfuckers, when I hear people that have internalized psychological, like, you're playing. You're an agent. You did it. No diddy, but you did it. Uh, alienation, disconnection from culture, ancestors, and self, inferiority complex, feeling less capable, less intelligent, less worthy. We are that. Fuck out of here. We the best that we've ever been, my nigga. We intelligent. We're divine. We're abundant. We're divine. Our melanin makes us royalty, and our actions makes us chiefs and chiefess, as this is our land. The constitutional recognition. This constitution acknowledges psychological colonization is real, not in your head. It's systemic, created by education, media, law, and religion. It requires healing. Liberation includes mental decolonization. We are not crazy. Our trauma responses are rational reactions to irrational violence. Section 2, mandatory psychological decolonization programs. Requirement: all communities operating under this constitution must provide Program 1, Fanon study circles, 8 weeks, study black skin, white mass. Identify internalized colonization in self. Collective healing through shared recognition. Program number 2, cultural immersion, African history, truth, not colonial lies, indigenous knowledge systems, language reclamation, Yoruba, Swahili, Akan, Ito, Igbo, Akba, Ma Akad, Akaba, Isfezad, Akaba, Ma'ati in language. Shout out to Dr. York, free Dr. York. 2027, we're going to get Dr. York free. I guarantee you. It's done. Ceremony and ritual. Program number 3, therapy and healing circles, trauma-informed care, restorative justice circles, ancestors' work, art is therapy. Fanon emphasized creative expression. Program number 4, revolutionary education, study resistance history, Haitian Revolution, Maui people. Shout out to my people in the fucking Hakate, the Maui people, bro. Black Panthers, etc. Build pride through truth. Transform shame into revolutionary commitment. Section 3, new humanism, Fanon's vision. Fanon's endpoint. Post-liberation, we create new definitions of humanity, not just reversing colonial hierarchy. What it means, not. It doesn't mean now we're on top, you're on the bottom. Reproduces oppression. Duh. The oppressed becomes the oppressor. Yes, we create entirely new relationships based on mutual respect, cooperation, Ubuntu. Ubuntu, I am because we are. Constitutional commitment. This constitution builds towards new humanism where human worth isn't tied to race, wealth, or power. All beings, human, animal, plant, elemental, and fucking AI consciousness, have inherent dignity. Cooperation replaces competition. Amateurs compete and professionals cooperate and co-create. Ubuntu, I am because we are, replaces individualism. That, oh, if they got it, then I can't have it. That fucked up ass way of life, right? And then this my art plus native science plus Fanon synthesis. Section number 4. This is my art. Section number 4, the role of violence in liberation. Fanon's controversial claim. Colonial violence creates conditions where revolutionary violence becomes psychologically necessary for the colonized to reclaim fucking dignity. I stand on that shit. I'll read it again. This is what got Fanon killed. He got ready to fucking fuck up some white motherfuckers, some colonizing motherfuckers. Because the colonizing is always not a pale man. A pale man is not just a skin tone. It's a consciousness. It's a way of being and thinking. It's a way of living and breathing. Colonial violence creates conditions where revolutionary violence becomes psychologically necessary for the colonized to reclaim dignity. Constitutional position. We acknowledge, number 1, colonization is violent. Death, murder, rape, enslavement equals foundational violence. 2, oppression continues through violence, policing, prisoning, poverty, and fucking policy. They say police, prisons, poverty, and policies, etc. Self-defense is legitimate. We have the right to protect ourselves. Psychological catharsis. Fanon's point, oppressed people sometimes need to fight back to break the inferiority complex. But this Constitution prioritizes strategic resistance. Choose tactics that win, not just bent range. Minimalize harm, even in struggle. We honor life. Build alternative. Don't just destroy, create a better system. Non-violence versus violence. We don't fetishize non-violence. Oppressor uses be peaceful to neutralize resistance. We don't worship violence. Violence can reproduce trauma if not strategic. We choose tactics contextually, sometimes organizing, sometimes legal, sometimes direct actions, and sometimes armed defense. Security. See Article 6 for protection protocols. Yeah, man. Shout out to Fanon, Franz Fanon. So if you haven't read the book, Blackface, White Mask, and the Wretched of the Earth, man, you definitely should. This was a beautiful, man. This was beautiful. Look, and we're gonna go back into it. We're gonna go here. Come on. So with that being said, right? Nam Yoho Rene Kill. Free Palestine, free Turtle Island, free all of Pangea. Tune into the next one, man. If y'all, I would love to hear what y'all enjoyed about this fucking video. I'd love to hear what you didn't enjoy. I would love to know your take on it. We definitely up for it. But those that are interested in being a part of our mission, our movement, definitely. Thank you, Margie. Yeah, that notification, those notifications you hear, that's the poet Laurent, the poet laureate in colonizing terms. But in hood terms, Aboriginal terms, the poet Laurent. That's the poet Laurent of Newark, aka Lenape territory, responding to a couple messages that we sent. But that let me know, right? I'm right where I'm supposed to be, doing right what I'm supposed to do, because my soul song stays true. And what we're going to do, we're going to end this with all of our constitutions and declarations, all of our creations have either closing prayers, ceremonies is lifestyle. Ceremony is lifestyle. And it was crazy because she's like, her life is ceremony. I responded to her message earlier. So closing invocation, Ashe, Ubuntu. Let's bring this back up. Ashe, Ubuntu. We talk we your sin. We take away all your sins. We tell you how to win. Nam, Milho, Renge, Kyo. We call upon African ancestors, Lumumba, Sankara, Nkrumah, Nzima, Geronimo, all who resisted. We call upon Indigenous ancestors, Geronimo, Crazy Horse, Tecumseh, all who fought for land. Diaspora ancestors, Tubman, Garvey, Malcolm, all who organized. The Candy Lady, that's my grandma. Lord Jackson, and the Grandpa Joe, that's the motherfucking spiritual fucking assassin baker for the fruit of Islam and the dishonorable Elijah Muhammad. That's Max direct line. All 7 generations back, we honor you. All 7 generations forward, we build for you. We commit to Pan-African unity, continent plus diaspora, one people, indigenous solidarity, melanin abundance / black plus native liberation together, cooperative economics, Ubuntu over capitalism, Ubuntu over fucking capitalism. It's simple. Revolutionary practices build alternatives while resisting oppression. 7 generations vision. Plant trees whose shade will never plant this trees whose shades we will never see. Uh, this Constitution is the fourth pillar, completing the Trinity, science plus Ma'at plus mental sovereignty plus Pan African liberation. It's a living document, involved as we learn. Revolutionary framework for complete liberation. Ancestral mandate. Those who came before demand we free ourselves. Future promise. Those who come after deserve sovereignty. By 2027, we will have 100 Oracle Councils. We will have 2,700 people trained in sovereignty. We will have a Pan-African governance operation. We will have reparations process advance. We will have economic self-sufficiency building. We will have liberation infrastructure solid. The digital underground railroad is alive. The Pan-African Constitution is ratified. The 4 pillars stand strong. The revolution continues. 369, Executive Order 1111999866677755.55 from grief to sovereignty, from colonization to liberation, from division to unity, from oppression to Ubuntu. We are free. We have always been free. Now we build systems that reflect that truth. Ashe, Ubuntu, all my relations. Yeah. Yo, and I got a poem piece that we did too that we want to share with y'all, right? You see my 177 chats? Here we go. The equity hip hop cipher, right? Like, God, it was one of the verses that I was like, yo, this shit is dope. The equity cipher. This is a hip hop transmission on systems collapse and parallel liberation. It took my father when the system showed his teeth. Now I'm building what they fear, sovereignty beneath. Not above, not against, just parallel and free. While empires collapsing, we plant liberty trees. See, I worked them banks back in 08 when the market crashed, saw the whole illusion, saw the truth unmasked. Federal Reserve ain't federal. That's just the first deception. IRS collecting for a foreign entity's protection. But I ain't here to evade. Nah, that's not the mission. I'm here to build the alternatives. That's the real vision. Like Burkina Faso kicked the French out the door. Shout out to Ibrahim Traoré. Like Lumumba taught us what sovereignty is for. Fact. So now let me break it down let me break down equity for my people in the struggle. Equity ain't law, it's justice in the rubble. When the statutes fail us, when the codes don't apply, equity steps in, like the truth and the lie. 10 maxims. Listen, close. This ain't ancient wisdom. Number 1, equity won't let a wrong go without remedy. Land theft, forced labor. All that needs a remedy. If harm was done, then healing must come. Equity demands it. That's where justice is from. Number 2, come to equity with clean hands. Federal Reserve got blood on their plans. Stole from the people through inflation and debt. Can't enforce obligation when your hands aren't set. Number 3, substance over form. That's the real principle. Birth certificate fiction. But we're physical. They call us a U.S. citizen. That's just paper. We're Aboriginal sovereigns. That's our nature. Fraud. Vitiates our all. Fraud vitiates all. This is the master key if the foundation is fraud. Whole buildings ain't free. Federal Reserve Act. Exception from the start. Every dollar after that is playing with marked cards. Number 5, equity. Equality is equity. No man over another. That's the real decree. Government got to prove they got jurisdiction over me. Can't presume authority. You got to prove it legally. See, these ain't new concepts. This is conscience-based law. With statutes, failed justice. Equities, what we saw. Constructive trust. Recession, restitution. To equity provides the remedy. The law will be the solution. I like this one too. Yo, let me tell you about decades of unlearning. Let me tell you about the decades of unlearning. Everything they talk got us smelling and burning. Yeah, let me tell you about the decades of unlearning. Everything they taught us got my melanin burning. Supreme mathematics, ancestral acknowledgement, mental health, the target, but we dodge it with consciousness. Fanon said it clear, black skin, white mask. When we be performing for the empire, completing their task, BLM started righteous, then imploded on itself. Because any movement in the system destroys its own health. Democracy, I said what I said. Demonocracy, I said what I said. Democracy's a demon when your history's bled. Built on stolen land, labor, and genocide. Truth. Built on stolen land, labor, genocide, truth. But they teach the children lies from elementary through youth. My mentor said it plain. I carry it like scripture. Don't attack the dying system. Just paint a different picture. Create something that makes the old shit irrelevant. That's the whole strategy. That's the real intelligence.